Hey everybody! Today at the Manor Library we were going to do a course to show how to do a snowflake made out of coat hangers, but we're actually switching to a virtual program, so you can now come and pick up your kit at the Manor Library, but I'm going to show you how we're going to put this together. So for this project you're going to need 16 coat hangers. You're going to need one set of indoor-outdoor 30-strand lights. You're going to need a bag of multi-purpose ties, and clear works best, or you could use white. You're going to need one strand of garland, and you're going to need a batch of flowers or something to decorate your finished project. And so when you're all done, this is roughly what we're going to be doing right here. And the design really is all up to you, because at the end of the day, once your flowers and your hangers are all put together, you can decorate it however you'd like to do. So let's get started. The first thing that we want to do is make sure that all of our hangers are together in the same way. So we don't want to have them like this, or you could, but it'll just look a little bit different. So it's kind of nice to have them all facing the same way. And you're going to take two of your multi-purpose ties, and we're going to run them on top and bottom. And this just helps to stabilize a little bit when we put them together. And usually I just put them partly together and then get them flat and tighten them, because it's usually a little easier that way, because there's no going back with a multi-purpose tie. Once it's tight, it's tight. And look at that, I just did that a little tighter than I should have. So you want to try and make them as flat as you possibly can, and try and keep them flat just like that. And you see I've actually pulled this a little too tight, so I think I might have to cut that off and try again. Which you can do if you find it doesn't work. And a pair of scissors work great for this, but sometimes a pair of tin snips work really well too, because these things are very, very tough, as you can see. We will cut this end off. Just like this, we're going to cut the ties. Maybe we'll cut the ties. There we go. Just so that you don't have these long ends on there. Even with this one, maybe we'll just cut this like this so that I can give you the idea. There. So now we're going to move on to the second step, and that's where you're going to take these and you're going to put them together like this. And again, making sure that they're all facing out the same direction. Like this. You can do this with smaller children's hangers and you just get a smaller snowflake, which is good. And depending on which hangers you get, you'll notice these ones don't perfectly touch at the heads. When they're smaller, sometimes they will touch at the heads, which is great, but it's okay, because what we're going to do next is going to make everything look the same. So now we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to offset it just a touch like this. So essentially, you're putting these in the center and you're going like this. So they're kind of touching a little more. Making sure I get them all the same way. There, this way. So you'll see these ones don't perfectly touch either, but what you can see is you've got this really pretty snowflake design. And what you're going to do next is you're going to take your extra ties and you're going to start attaching them together so that they hold in one big snowflake. And this can be done with as many ties as you really need to have. You can usually I start kind of somewhere like this where it's easy to see they're connected. Whoops. And tighten them. And it's easier to put these all together and then do your trimming afterwards, if you can. Okay, so now you can see that we've got all of the snowflake kind of put together, and now what we're doing is we've made it so that everything, when we pick it up, it'll hold easily. We're just trimming off these pieces here that we've used, and then when you go to pick it up, it's all together, just like that. So now what we're going to do is this is where you get to be creative and do your own things. So you're going to take a string of lights, and it's nice to do indoor-outdoor so that you can put this wherever you want to put it. If you don't want to do indoor-outdoor, you can use battery-powered lights and just use them inside. That works just fine too. And it's up to you as to whether you use white lights, blue lights, whichever. All these ones that we're doing is white lights this time. That's the kits we have, just so that they're all kind of the same. And you're just gonna stretch this out. You can change out your bulbs to make them flash if you really wanna do that. And really, you can put your lights wherever you choose to put them. And once you figure out, the best thing to do is figure out, of course, where you're going to plug your top or your bottom, essentially. And so if I pull this over to here, you can see that when we did this one, we left a little bit hanging down so that it was easy to catch. And actually it worked out that it worked all the way around to be able to be close by. So you could still plug something into it. This one actually came off of my deck, and we did have a couple of things plugged into it, so it kind of works nice. So basically all we've done is we've just wound these lights inside. So knowing that we're going to leave the bottom, we're going to decide that we want the bottom to be where we like the bottom to be. Probably right around here, I guess. And then we'll leave a little bit there, and you just essentially wrap these in and around. And this is where it's kind of handy with your hooks that are left here, because you can use these to just kind of work your way around and secure them. Okay, so now that we've got all of our lights on, you can see that we've got them all strung around here. And remember, it doesn't matter if it isn't perfect. There is no such thing as a perfect snowflake. There is no two the same. So now you can take your garland, and you can do whatever you like. In this one, we went all the way around the center. You can get more garland and go all the way around the outside. You can just put a little cluster in the center. You can put garland wherever you choose to put it. It's just, at this point, all up to your own interpretation. So in this case, I'm just gonna spread it right around through here, just like we did with the lights. So it just kind of goes around. And again, you can just use your lights as your hangers. It's kind of neat this way, because this becomes kind of like your own little extra pieces of hooks without having to have hooks on it. I'm just going to go like this, wrap these around. You can see if you got a little extra, that's okay, because you can still just keep wrapping it to fill up your spots. And kind of tie it around like that. So now we've kind of got this really neat little area here, and the nice part with the way lights are nowadays, they're not going to set this on fire, which is really good, especially if it's outside. It'll keep it nice and cold. So now the next thing to do is to take your flowers, and you can use whatever flowers you want. It's just all it's up to your interpretation. And I'm going to cut these all off. These in particular are kind of almost like a retro type of a poinsettia we got going here. And I like to leave a little bit of a length on them, just so that you've got something to kind of twist around the inside. This is also something you can do with glue if you want to glue them in. That's okay too. So now what you're going to do is you're just going to twist these in around here. You can put them inside, just like this. Oh, making sure I didn't squish that a little too much, maybe. Pull them too far. And the nice part with these being on wire is that you can kind of twist them up so they will stay, and you can twist them around. And you can put these in wherever you want to put them. You can go all the way around. This is also a good place where if you've got a little extra tinsel, you can always cut the tinsel off the bottom and wrap it in around this part too. Works really nice. And even you can kind of use the stem to wrap it around the sunflower, snowflake. Like that, keeps it in place a little bit more, makes them stand up a little bit. So once you have them all secured in, however you'd like them to be, and that again is all completely up to however you want to have it, then when you're all done, you have a completed snowflake to take outside and hang up. I hope you guys come and find a kit from the library. We'd love to have you come in and pick one up.